Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I will be continuing my Building Newcrest series where we take all of the empty lots on Newcrest and build it into a playable town. So without further ado, subscribe if you enjoy and let's get into the video. Alrighty, so today we are building another residential lot and this one is actually going to be a tree house. Because I'm not gonna lie, I watched Caryn and Connie's treehouse build and then I really wanted to build a treehouse, so we're building a treehouse. So, first things first, gotta find some massive trees to use. Yes. I decided to do 3, and fun fact, growing up, I watched a lot of Treehouse Masters. So I kind of took some of my memory from that to figure out where the trees should go for if this was real. So to make the treehouse, I put a second floor, deleted the first, and then moved my box up to the heavens. It's now in the sky. The house is just going to float for part of this because until it's built, I'm just kind of leaving the trees out of my way so that I don't have to work around them for the time being. Now it was time to put a nice little porch around this whole thing. So this actually ends up being quite a big porch, but you know, that's okay. It is a nice, cozy treehouse. I wanted to see if it would fit into tiny home residential, but unfortunately, the porch was too large and in charge. It no longer is a tiny home residential. And I also decided to curve the edges of it just to kind of make it look a little more seamless, make it look a little nicer. I thought it looked nice, at least, so it's happening. Here it is. So we've got our nice rounded corners, and then we are going to get into building this. I did want to keep it like semi-blending in with the trees. I didn't want it to like really jump out of it, so it is pretty neutral and browny on the outside. But it looks really cute. It's like a cute little cottage. Added some of those shingles to it as well as some trim. I went with a dark trim on this one, as well as some darker columns to kind of keep it blending in with the trees. For the main living space on the inside, I decided to just take the paneling from the outside and move it to the inside because I wanted a cabin feel to this build, so I feel like that was well suited for that. Now, we got that lovely Seasons door. I love that door. It's very nice. And then big windows. This is where there's a little bit of modern that comes in here. I wanted big windows on this. And again, the Sims don't care if there's a massive window in their bathroom. They actually have 2 massive windows in their bathroom. So, it's fine. It's a treehouse. They're up so high that if anyone can see through that window, or if someone is looking hard enough to see through that window, that's not the person in the house's problem. That's the person looking's problem. So, I tried some other ideas on the inside. I ended up changing it to the same paneling, but in white, and then adding a wood floor. And then I went for this cute little loggy couch to try and fit it in a little bit. This is obviously a very small living space. So there's not a ton of room for there's room for activities, but mostly outside, not really inside. And I decided to put some bookshelves on the outside of this as well because they're cute. Thought they looked nice. Went with the dark theme for the furniture and then realized that that table looked tiny now that the bookshelves were next to it. So I put it in the center and decided that a TV, I didn't want there to be a TV in the treehouse because it's a treehouse. I feel like it's about nature and such. So I'm just putting some plants in the little open places of the bookcase and trying to find a rug that works well for this little area. That one ended up working out pretty nice. So this is kind of a cozy cabin with a little bit of a modern edge to it, if I were to describe it. And this will also be up on my gallery page at Livy2654. That will also be in the description. So the kitchen in this is pretty basic. Here I'm just comparing the two black swatches of these dang countertops to try and figure out which one I actually picked, because it's kind of hard to tell, but you know, you live and you learn, you figure out which countertops match, and it all works out. Instead of a dining table, I decided to go with an island for this one. And then decided to decorate this just a little bit. I found this blanket basket and I really wanted to use it on the end of the couch, so I grabbed that and put it there. Put a little bowl of fruit in the kitchen because they can still prepare food on the island, so it is a-okay. And gave a vent hood because we are literally in the trees. Cannot be setting things on fire, and put some cute little pots and pans above the island. Moving on to this little bedroom. There is room for a double bed in this room. However, it is pretty tight. So I went with a single bed instead. So this could be modified to house more than one sim, but it is probably most comfortable for one. I put a little oil lamp on the table, carried the same wood to the inside, and then wanted to find a nice fancy wallpaper for in here. Something that just looked a little fun. I thought that could be a nice touch. Now we're looking for a dresser to pop in here. I liked that one, but I don't know. Didn't really work. So the dresser selection in The Sims is always interesting, and then I just decided to go with the Dream Home Decorator one that matches the bed. Put some plants on it, and then ended up... Whoa, we're going for clutter now. We're getting fancy. So I decided to, well, we put some stuff on here. I raised up these boxes because it doesn't make sense that you can't put them on there. I don't know why they didn't fit in the slot. I was going to go with that rug, but it did cover the entire room. So I was hoping that there would be a more neutral swatch of this one, but there wasn't. So we ended up going with the little yellow cow print because it's kind of just earthy. It also matched the little flower box on the thing. For the bathroom, this is also pretty basic in here. I was trying to find things that looked not necessarily old, but more like almost a little dated. But they still have a very nice shower in there, and the pet's bathtub, which I love so much. I thought that I would be able to put those two together and make it look okay, but it did not look okay, so we switched that up pretty quick. Trying to figure out a color for the bath mat in front of the toilet was also interesting because I remember building this and thinking, why are so many of these swatches brown? It doesn't. Why are so many of them brown? Like, that's all I was thinking the whole time. There were so many brown swatches. And then all the other colors were weird and had other colors with them. So we settled on black and then some nice gray towels. Pretty bland in here, I'm not gonna lie. So this is me trying to find the tiny home shelf, like the tiny living bathroom shelf to put above the toilet. And in shelving, I couldn't find it for whatever reason. So at some point, I thought it was that one, but that's the kitchen one. This is where I kind of gave up and decided to just go to show all and filter by tiny living, and there she is. That's all I wanted. I don't know where that was hidden, but found it, so it doesn't really matter. We have it now. For the wallpaper, I decided to do a nice darker tile. And then on the floor, we've got just the little basic speckle tile. I don't know. I really like that tile, and I don't know why. This is where I contemplated curtains. The keyword is contemplated, because then I decided we're just not going to have curtains. It's fine. It's a treehouse. You're up high. You're in the trees. It didn't seem necessary to me. So now, because obviously that patio looks like the most dangerous thing you've ever seen, we are finding a fence to put around it so that Sims don't fall off, even though I don't think they can. We don't want them to try and figure it out. So there is now a fence, and then I go to the ladders to see where and how I want the Sims to get up here. I ended up going with just the traditional base game ladder and sticking it there, and now we are scooting the trees into their structural locations. So they shoot up through the patio. Sims should be able to get by them. I left plenty of walking space. Then we're just putting a trim on the edge there to hide the weird wall color of the Sims. So this patio is kind of like the skill building area of this build. So there is an easel in that first corner. There is a chess table that I am putting over here. Then back here, let's see, what are we gonna find? This is where I realized that I wanted to put a bar in this build. But yoga mat was the ultimate winner. So there are plenty of things for Sims to do on this build, even though it is a small build. This is where the bar comes into play. There's a little bar on the side of the house. And I believe I am looking for the globe bar because it's small. I wanted one that doesn't take up a ton of space and almost just looks like a sculpture that's out there. For the front, I took these logs, the little log benches, and popped them out there, and then grabbed some plants to scoot next to the front door. Now down here is where this was a process. I am landscaping the little circle of trees because I felt like it wouldn't get cleared out too often. So I'm just taking the yellow flowers and sizing them up and making a circle around this area. This is just kind of what I wanted to do. And then pulling some different plants and such all throughout. And turning all of the cheats on quick because it's very helpful to have all of them. Especially for plants. There are a lot of debug and live edit plants that are very useful. So I'm kind of just picking some random ones, sizing others up to kind of make them literally cover more ground because I did not want this to take me forever. So I found random plants and just like scooted them into this circle. This whole thing does get filled up. I sized up the little oopsie-daisies to cover even more ground because we needed that. And then the wildflowers I tried to size up, but they looked kind of insane. So ended up keeping those down. Grabbed some more of the yellow flowers to fill in those extra gaps. And now I'm trying to find some little baby trees that fit under here, and you'll see soon. I thought that some of these fit under here, but the house is invisible when you're clicked down to the level below it, so these trees are actually poking up through the bottom of the house right now, but I fix it. We just have to get there first. We got to put the dirt down first. Make it look a little more realistic. And that little dirt path is kind of just like where you would walk to get in there. I didn't think a fancy path made sense, and then I lined the path with the flowers and such as well. I did not forget the mailbox or the trash can since this is a residential lot. You've got it, even though I don't know if Sims can go up and down ladders with trash, but they'll at least throw it on the floor for you to put in their inventory. This is where I go back up because I realized that there was no trash can in the kitchen. And then slowly come to the realization that my trees are sticking through the house. So I deleted that pine tree, and this is where I'm now checking to see how all of the trees are faring, and come to see that that one is sticking through it. I sized it down again to see if that would work, and it was still sticking through. Then this one was also sticking through, so we just have the two baby ones, and that one is also now extra baby as well. So yeah, that is what we ended up doing for this house. Looking at it, it's very cute, very tiny. There's no curtains, but again, you're up very high, so it's okay. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.